How's everybody's Friday doing? Or going? Mine's okay. I'm not feeling the greatest, but we are having family night here in just a little bit. We're gonna watch some Hocus Pocus because the new Hocus Pocus called Hocus Pocus 2 is coming out, and we're all excited because we all loved the first one. So we're gonna watch the first one and the second one, and probably the first one again, and probably the second one again. Just an entire Hocus Pocus night. I'm super excited about that. After this live show, don't forget to check out the Voice of College Football over on the West Virginia channel. Usually I do that on Friday nights as well at 8 p.m. But I got a lot going on today, and I'm not feeling all that great. So I'm gonna do this one, and then we'll start our movie night. By the way, quick shout out. I didn't have enough time to do a post today, but I had a New Mexico State, and a UTEP mini helmet. So shout out to the border cities, aka Ricardo T. Appreciate that, Ricardo. Tomorrow, my dad's actually coming over, and we are going to start setting up the shelving. It's going to be like a three-dimensional type of thing. It's going to be bolted into the wall, but it's going to extend at an angle. So hopefully that looks good for everybody. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Is the volume good? Can you hear me? Give me a thumbs up. Say yes, something. Let me know. I don't want to be I don't want to be moving my mouth and you can't hear me. Can you hear me? Give me a thumbs up. I would greatly appreciate that. But I've been hearing a lot of noise, rumors, whatever you want to call it, about Texas. Not a good situation in Austin right now. So we know last year they lost to Oklahoma, who they should have beaten. Texas should have beaten Oklahoma. They really should have. But Oklahoma substituted Caleb Williams in for Spencer Rattler, and Oklahoma came back and they beat Texas. So that was a devastating loss for Texas. And what happened was they couldn't get it out of their head mentally. They were not mentally tough. So they kept losing and losing and losing and losing. This year, Texas was preseason a favorite to at least make the Big 12 championship, possibly win the Big 12 championship. And they were looking good. They came within 1 point of Alabama. Alabama beat them by 1 point. It was a great game. More defense than offense, and but it seems like the same thing that happened to Texas last year is happening to Texas again this year, and that's they let a close loss to a great team that they should have won. Texas had their chances of beating Alabama. I think Texas should have beaten Alabama, but they came up just short of beating Alabama, and they just can't get it out of their heads. And from what I'm hearing, there's some arguments going on in the locker rooms about, the fumble. Was it the line's fault? Was it just, a bad angle for Bijan Robinson? Did the quarterback not do his job? Was it a bad handoff? I don't know. I looked at it in still frame, and it looked like that he just got hit right, like helmet right on the ball, and it popped out. Head and shoulder, actually. It was just a great hit. So don't get mad about it. Just, it sucks, but you have to leave that last week. You can't let it keep happening over and over and over and over. That's the thing. And that's a reflection on the coaching. If you can't get your guys mentally prepared for every single game, that's on the coach. So I'm interested. Well, of course, I'm interested in West Virginia, Texas, because I'm a West Virginia fan. But I'm interested to see if Texas lets a game beat them multiple times. I actually think that the loss to Texas Tech was a product of the loss to Alabama. Because luckily for Texas, the game that followed Alabama was UTSA. And if you watched Texas versus UTSA, Texas didn't play that great. UTSA was in that game till the very end, and they had their chances. They definitely had their chances, and I just feel like Texas can't get losses out of their heads, and we might be looking at the same exact thing this year. And the good thing for West Virginia is the game right after this game is going to be the Red River rivalry. So, you have a lot of things going on. Number one, they lost to Alabama. They're still thinking about that. Number two, they just lost to Texas Tech in brutal fashion. I mean, think about it. 21 seconds left. Texas Tech kicks the field goal. They think they won the game, but then Texas drives in 20 seconds to get in field goal range, and then they kick a 48-yard field goal to send it in overtime. And then, of course, Bijan Robinson fumbles the ball on the very first handoff of overtime. So you have all of that, and then the Red River rivalry right after the West Virginia game. This could be a good situation for West Virginia, but it could also be the opposite. I don't think there's any in between right here. It's either great for West Virginia or it's terrible for West Virginia. What do you think about that, Joey? Oh, yeah. Shout out to Yvette Foster's the better half of Joey. Yes, remind everybody, please hit the like button, even if you don't like me, or even if you don't like Texas or West Virginia or this entire video. Hit the like button because it helps the YouTube algorithm and it gets more people in the chat. So it actually helps you as well because it'll give you more people to talk trash to in the comments section. So please hit the like button. Anyways, Joseph, what's up, buddy?
So I have been watching Texas shows most of the day, and every one of them have the same narrative, and that is, hey, the team called a team meeting without coaches, that there's problems there, and the team's mad at the coaches. They're talking about the coaches.
Oh,
and that's what they're saying. And then on top of that, now they're also saying, hey, this is the same thing that happened last year after the Oklahoma loss. They called a team meeting. All the arguing started, and we lost 6 in a row. And, so are they back to doing that? I mean, I don't know. I mean, I love
it almost seems like it's too obvious. Like if last year hadn't happened, then I would say that it's probably gonna happen. But you would think, knowing what they know from last year, that they're like, well, hold on, guys, hold on. Okay, so yes, we have 2 losses, but let's not let last year happen again. All right, let's get it together. Let's practice hard. Let's have some good practices. And we have talent here, guys. I mean, we're the cream of the crop. We're at Texas. Why are we losing these games? I don't know. Let's get it together and play our positions to the best of our ability.
Well, I think it's pretty obvious to everyone on the outside looking into Texas why they're losing games. It's that culture and everybody trying to run the program. Too many Chiefs, not enough Indians.
Number one reason,
everybody's in charge of the coach.
Number one reason, boosters.
Yeah.
The number one reason why Texas is the way they are is because boosters have too much power. I understand you want to keep the cash flow, but that doesn't mean you give the cash flow ultimate power. There still has to be structure. There has to be, coaches need to be coaches, not a coach that answers to somebody else. That's not how college football should be run. And you're looking at Texas, who has all the money in the world, and they recruit at a high level consistently, but because of the stupid boosters who for some reason think that they know more than anybody, they know more than the players, they know more than the coaches, they know more than the coordinators, they know more than anybody. So they tell, y'all need to do this, or you need to fire him. That's the coach we need to go after. Honestly, I think the boosters made a mistake by going after Steve Sarkisian because the boosters and Tom Herman didn't get along. That was a terrible fire/hire. That was horrible.
It was. I just don't understand that. And, I don't think anybody can, to be honest with you, because Tom Herman was doing a great job at Texas. He really was, considering what he had to go through. And to answer your question, SEC dog, I am. I've got my powdered water mixed here, and I'm mixing my powdered water with my whiskey tonight. So I'm getting ready for the game tomorrow night.
There you go.
Because I couldn't figure out what you mix powdered water with. But anyway, I know that, Texas has problems. Now, if the players' meeting was to talk about, hey, we're too good to lose like this, and then okay, then they might be okay. But if it was to point fingers at coaches and point fingers at each other, especially
Not
over a
good.
fumble or something, I mean, that would not be good at all. And
Not at
according
all.
to the shows I've watched today, and I've watched probably 6 shows today, at least 5 of them have talked about this player meeting and talked about how um, that they were fussing about coaches. So
Yeah, that's not good. That's not good at all. And Texas is better than what we're seeing too. Like
yeah,
a lot of people that didn't look at the spread before the game. Oh, that was a road game. That's tough. It's tough in the Big 12. That's true, but Texas was the overwhelming favorite. They should have won that football game, but they can't get out of their own way. I don't understand it. I don't, and you can't really get mad at Steve Sarkisian because he's just the next coach that has to go through the cycle. I don't know how you fix the situation because it seems like going back to Mike Brown that it was made evident that the boosters have ultimate control. That's the problem. That is the problem.
yeah,
So how do you solve that? Take the power away from them. But they threatened to take the money away. Well, as of right now, it's not doing you any good anyways. You're about to go to the SEC and make a ton of money anyways. Why not get rid of the cancer? And, if they stop, I mean, that sucks. I understand you want to keep getting money, but winning national championship will more than make up for that. Like, that's a lot of money right there. It's like they're choosing money over success. That's
yeah.
not fair to the fans.
I agree.
I should say that's not fair to the fans.
Yep, I agree. I agree. I don't. And now here's one thing I will say: if Texas can't cover the slot receiver any better than they did last week against Texas Tech,
They're in trouble.
West Virginia will destroy them because we have too much talent. We got more talent at receiver than Texas Tech for sure, and
Yes.
and our slot receiver is a lot faster if he can catch the ball. I will
Right.
say that.
And Sam,
if
I
they're
will give
giving up
Sam
that,
James credit. Sam James is catching the ball way better than what he was last year. Much
yeah,
better.
he is. He is, and let's hope he don't start discovering the case of the drops again. But
Right.
him coming out of that slot, I'm sure Texas Tech exposed Texas last week with that, and really just in time. So, and if they cover that slot this week, well, that's going to leave probably BFW wide open down the sideline.
Yeah. Exactly. And we don't have Jarrett Daggy back there who, won't see. Like, if there's somebody running open down the seam or down the sideline, JT's going to hit him. Like, he's
Yep.
that's one thing that I actually have confidence in our offense this year. And I think that Jacoby Spells proved that he needs to be a starter this week because, I mean, you go from Ajayi who slipped and fell and left the dude wide open, should have been a touchdown, to Jacoby Spells pick six. I mean, that's an easy choice. Jacoby Spells has earned his start. I understand that he's a freshman, but, I mean, you always go with talent. You can't stay that loyal. If the person that's just coming in is better than the person that's been there, you have to go with the person that's just coming in. That's just life. If Ajayi wants to win it back, then get better. Work on your craft. Stop falling down and leaving wide receivers open, If anybody in the chat has a question or a comment, or you want to make fun of me or Joey, Joey, that's okay, right? You got thick skin too?
Yeah, that's fine with me.
Just let us know in the super chat. We'll put it on the screen. Anything, it's the little dollar sign that you see on the bottom right-hand corner under the comment section. Anything you put in the super chat, we will put on the screen. Just like you see our names, Golden Bluted and Joey Foster. We'll read it. If it's a question, we'll try to answer it. If it's a comment, we'll address it. And hey, even if you're making fun of us, we appreciate you so much for supporting the channel that we will put it on the screen and we will still read it. Did you see the two helmets that I got earlier?
No, I didn't.
Yeah, we are up to 26 mini helmets, bro. 26.
Oh, wow.
So
That's
today,
good.
I'm going to do another shout out since you weren't here earlier. Today, we got the New Mexico State. These are group of 5 teams, by the way. New Mexico State Aggies. The cool thing is, I don't know if y'all can see that, but they have the pistols down the
cool.
down the stripe in the middle. That's pretty cool. I didn't know that. That's really cool, actually.
Looks nice.
And then the other one was a UTEP. This one kind of reminds me of the Illinois helmet as far as the colors go. So that's pretty cool right there too. So tomorrow we'll be installing the shelving. We might have to make some minor adjustments. We'll see how it goes. But
I like
I'm
that
very
miner's
excited.
pick on UTEPs. I like that
Oh
miner's
yes,
pick or
yes,
whatever it is. Yeah.
that is genius. And what's cool is so UTEP Niners, Charlotte Niners, two completely different logos. UTEP, the T is the pickaxe, and then with Charlotte, the pickaxe makes up the middle part of the C. I think both the logos are pretty cool. So shout out, I'm going to shout them out again. Shout out to the Border Cities, aka Ricardo T. We appreciate everybody sending stuff, and it's to represent your team and yourself forever in our background. So once we get it, it's you get shouted out, and you are officially covered in the background forever. So I'm excited about that, and I think you know what I
So,
think I'm going to do like Lou did with the LED lights to light up the helmets. So it's going to
yeah.
be it's going to be a 3-dimensional effect instead of just flat up against the wall. So at an angle
Yeah.
and then light them up. I think it's going to be a cool visual. I really do. And it's going to be
So I wanted
stadium too.
to
So it's be layered.
talk about the show that I'll do Sunday on the channel
Yes.
from 2 to 4. So I've been thinking about it for a long time, coming up with a name for that show. And I came up with it last night when I found out that Texas called a players only meeting. I decided I'm just going to call it the players only meeting. That's going to be
That's
the name of
cool.
the show, the players only meeting
Nice.
on Sunday from 2
Nice.
to 4. And then now tomorrow, Sunday, I want to tell everybody, I promised Patreons I'd have them a special guest in the Patreon for a Sunday show from 5 to 6. And I've got Paul Catalina from 365
Nice.
Sports. I have
Nice.
Mark Rogers from Mark Rogers
Always
TV.
cool.
And Cooz's Corner said he would step in if he could, and he wasn't positive he could. So Cooz's Corner will be there as well. So we're looking for a
Nice.
great Patreon show on Sunday from 5 to 6 with Paul Catalina, Mark Rogers, myself, and Cooz's Corner. So,
Awesome job, Joey. Let's run through some of these bigger games real quick. I wanted to
right.
go through some non-ranked real quick because there are some good ones out there. I'm looking through the ACC. I really don't see anything besides the obvious. I mean, Virginia Tech, North Carolina. I expect North Carolina to take care of business. So let's skip the ACC.
Yeah.
They don't have any non-ranks. Big 12, Iowa State and Kansas. I think that could end up being a really good game. Iowa State
Yep.
is 3-1. Of course, Kansas is undefeated. Iowa State is the 3-point favorite.
I know.
This
Kansas
is
getting
in
no
Lawrence.
respect. I
Exactly.
know it.
I've had Kansas ranked for 2 weeks in a row. I have them in my top 20 now. I mean, they went on the road and beat West Virginia, on the road and beat Houston, and then they beat an
Yeah.
undefeated Duke last week. That's a ranked team right there. That's not the
You better
toughest
believe it
opponent
is.
in the world. That's not what I'm saying. But it's good enough to where you haven't lost. That's good enough to get ranked. So
I'll be
I will
okay with
say
it if after
if
they win, after we win
if they were
tomorrow,
ranked after the
if
top
they'll rank them
25,
up in the top 20.
yes, they would be top 20. They would be number 26 if you did rankings past top 25 because they were the team with the highest amount of votes after the top 25. So if they win this game, they will get ranked. What do you think,
Yep.
Joey?
I think they'll win it. I really do. I think they'll win it. I think they'll beat Iowa State. It's at home. And, Kansas, the fans are fired up. I mean, they are. They're
Yes.
excited. And the football fans are starting to come out of the woodworks. I don't know if anybody's noticed that or not. It
Yeah.
used to be, if we wanted a Kansas guest for this show, Mark Rogers, whoever, I couldn't find
Good
one.
luck.
I couldn't
Good
find
luck.
one. They're coming out of the woodworks now. They're contacting me. So,
Yep.
hey, guess what? Kansas is fired up, and I'm happy for them. So I think that they beat Iowa State, and go and then the next week they get TCU, so they could beat TCU
Nice.
because they get them at home as well and be 6-0 going to Norman. That's what I'm hoping for. That's what I've
Yeah.
projected to happen. I think they beat Iowa State tomorrow. I don't think it's even that close of a game, to be honest with you. I think
Yeah.
it will be at first, but I think Kansas will run away with it.
I think Kansas beats them between 10 and 14 points. Their offense is just Iowa State's defense isn't good enough to keep up with an offense that has 3 layers. Triple
Right.
option, so you got to stay. You got to keep your gap integrity. You got to be gap sound. But on top of that, then you got to look for the RPO. So that's an extra gap with the quarterback. Got to keep your eyes on the quarterback. And the quarterback can throw the ball. So you got to keep your gap, eyes on the quarterback, and cover your wide receiver. How do you cover that? That is a
Well,
genius offense by Lance Leipold. And wherever he goes from here, because Kansas, I'm sorry, Kansas fans, you're not going to be able to keep him. Wherever he goes from there is going to have a great offense because he's going to have even more talent. I got Kansas, and I'm going to say Kansas by 10 to 14 points.
and here's another thing too, GBD, that you got to remember Matt Campbell. Whenever you have a running quarterback like that, Matt Campbell likes to use a spy, which means that he's going to take a player away from the secondary. So I look for Jalen Daniels to light him up passing.
I agree. West Virginia, Texas.
Oh, West Virginia. I got to take West Virginia. I just think Texas has too many problems right now.
Here's what I say with West Virginia, Texas. I got West Virginia scoring 35 points no matter what. If Hudson Card plays, I think we win 35-24. If Quinn Ewers plays, I think he'll give our defense a little bit of issues. And I do have Texas, and this is Quinn Ewers 100%. Quinn Ewers 100%. I'll actually take Texas 41-35. Either way, I think West Virginia scores 35. And then it depends on either Hudson Card or a healthy 100% Quinn Ewers. If we're talking about a 75% Quinn Ewers, then we're looking at a 35-31 West Virginia win. So that's my breakdown on that. Oklahoma, TCU, number 18 Oklahoma at TCU. Oklahoma coming off a loss to Kansas State. TCU is undefeated. But honestly, I actually feel bad for TCU. I think Oklahoma comes in mad, focused, ready to run the table. They were asleep last week. This game is sold out for TCU. I don't think that's going to matter. Oklahoma was looking like a playoff team before they fell asleep against Kansas State. I think that team shows up, and I think they beat TCU by 20 plus.
Yeah, I agree. I don't know if it'd be by 20 plus, but I think they'll beat them by double digits.
All right, very good. Texas Tech at Kansas State. This one's tricky. This was very tricky. Kansas State is now ranked number 25 because they went on the road and beat Oklahoma, but they do that like every other year. It's not rare for Kansas State to beat Oklahoma. They do that fairly consistently. I don't trust Adrian Martinez for Kansas State. He's not consistent enough. And Donovan Smith, the quarterback for Texas Tech, he's like, I think he's the second highest as far as passing yards in the Big 12. I think Texas Tech goes on the road and stomps a mud hole in Kansas State. I think Texas Tech wins by at least 2 touchdowns.
I have to think the opposite here, and here's why. I think that Martinez found his groove last week, and I think it's going to continue on. I look at a couple things. You know, Kansas State beat the crap out of Missouri. Missouri's not a great team, but they are an SEC team coming out of the SEC. Kansas State beat them like a drum. Then Kansas State turns around and beats Oklahoma. I think they might be a little bit better than what we're thinking. So I think they're going to take down Texas State.
They did lose to Tulane.
Right. Tulane's a pretty good team too, though. You know, yeah, think about that. So I just think that Kansas State will beat Texas Tech. Not by a lot. I mean, I think it'll be a close game.
That's fair. Let me get the super chat real quick. Calico Willie. I like the name. That's pretty cool. I'm guessing I'm pronouncing that correctly. That sounds right. Calico Willie, thank you for the $4.99 donation. Says, hi, GBD. It's your favorite K-State fan who welcomed you to Kurt's show. Nice. Yeah, I remember. Emaw. Do you know what emaw means, Joey?
Seems like
every
I do, but I can't
man
think of it.
A wildcat. Every man.
Oh yeah, okay, that's right.
Then he goes on to say, yes. And I have something for your wall on the way, but the shipper is slow. Ooh, nice. Kansas. And Kansas State does need to be represented. I'm kind of surprised. The 3 teams in the Big 12, well, actually 4 teams in the Big 12 that I'm surprised. Number 1 has to be Texas. Like, I know Mad T Sipper says he's going to send something, but I haven't seen anything from Texas yet, so I'm super surprised about that. Kansas State, I'm surprised. I have several Kansas State subscribers. Iowa State, They're loud and proud on this channel as well. And then Texas Tech. Well, never mind. I do have one Texas Tech thing. So Texas Tech off the board. But Iowa State, Kansas State, Texas, you're not represented yet. What are you waiting on? Come on, guys. But the last game is the biggest game in the Big 12, and that's number 9, Oklahoma State at number 16, Baylor. Two things. Number one, this is in Waco, Bear Country, and that is a very tough place to win in. The second thing is Oklahoma State has taken that massive, tremendous step backwards on defense. And Ohio State, which is where Knowles went to, their defense has gotten way better. Oklahoma State has a good offense this year, but they're not going to have the defense to stop Baylor. I think Baylor stomps a mud hole in Oklahoma State as well. This could turn into a shootout type of thing because I do think that Oklahoma State will put up points. So I'll take Baylor in a 42 to maybe 32 or 31 type of game.
You remember the line on this game? It was 3, wasn't it?
Right now it's 2.5 now.
2.5. Yeah. So so Vegas is thinking this game's a push. I'm thinking that this game will be an overtime game. I think it'll be really close. I really believe Oklahoma State has too much to play for right now because they're the only undefeated team left in the Big 12. And, they want to stay that way. So I think they're going to go into Waco ready to play. But it's just going to be tough down there. You know that. It's just going to be tough.
Yeah.
Baylor plays really good at home. So I'm going to take Oklahoma State in overtime.
Okay, that's fair. So if you do bet Baylor, all they have to do is basically win by a field goal or more. So that's not a bad bet either way. The Big Ten, nothing big going on this week. Rutgers at number 3, Ohio State, no thanks. Northwestern at number 11, Penn State, no thanks. Number 4, Michigan at Iowa in a snooze fest. How is Iowa only 3-1? How is Iowa only 3-1? They 2 games, they only scored 7 points. In one of those games, they didn't even score a touchdown. It was 2 safeties and a field goal. Michigan is favored by 10.5. I think Michigan's going to go in there and it's going to be lower scoring because don't get me wrong, Iowa does have a good defense, but their offense is terrible. So I got Michigan win this game like 21-10.
Well, I've been saying all week I would if I was going to bet this game, I would bet Michigan, but at the same time, about them points, 10.5 points, I don't know about that. So what I've been saying is take the under because the over-under is 42.5. There's not going to be 42.5 points scored in this game. I mean, just think about that. I was not going to score 10 points, and Michigan is not going to score 32 points. So you might as well just take the under.
They're thinking a game like so 10.5. So okay, let's figure this out real quick. 48, right? So they're thinking what 28 to no, we got to go higher than that. I'll say 35 to 31. How about that? 31-20 is about.
Well, they're saying 42. They're saying 42.
Oh, I thought you said 48. I thought you said 48. Okay, yeah, that lowers a little bit. So still, that's still like 28. 28-17, 28-17. That's
it would be.
Right?
It would have to be like 33-10. I was not scored 10 points this year, have it? So
I mean,
I just don't see Iowa scoring more than a touchdown, and I don't see Michigan scoring more than 30. So
okay. So they beat North Dakota State 7-3, 2 safeties and a field goal. Let me get to this super chat real quick. Quentin, thanks for the $1.99 donation. Says Texas will win by 10 plus. Hook 'em. That wouldn't surprise me. It really wouldn't. It is in Austin. Texas does have the better talent, but it's just can they get their head? If Texas' head is in this game, I actually agree with that. I really do, and especially if Quinn Ewers is 100% healthy. But it's the X factor of the mentality. So I can't totally disagree with that. Calico Willie, thank you for the $1.99 donation. Says, horns always down. Let's go country roads. We got a little back and forth going on that. But the last 2 games, Iowa beat Nevada 27-0, and then they beat Rutgers 27-10. But those 2 teams are not very good teams. So once again, Iowa will have to rely on the defense, and I just think Michigan's offense is too good. I'll take Michigan and lay the points. There's really no other interesting game. I mean, you could I guess you could say Purdue at number 21, Minnesota, but Purdue already has 2 losses. I am surprised that the line is only Minnesota favored by 11.5. I would most definitely take Minnesota and lay the points on that. All right, let's move on to the I'll go in order. The Pac-12. Pac-12 has a lot of good games this week, guys. Tonight, number 15 Washington on the road to UCLA. Both of these teams are undefeated at 4-0, but UCLA is more of a smokescreen undefeated 4-0 because they've played Bowling Green State, beat them 45-17. FCS Alabama State 45-7. South Alabama 1-point win 32-31, and then at terrible, the worst team in the Power 5, Colorado 45-17. So the line is really dude, the line has dropped even more. Holy no, actually, yeah, it has dropped even more. Yes. Whenever I talked about the game earlier, it was Washington favored by 4. Washington now is a 2.5-point favorite. That means people are betting on UCLA.
Yeah.
Holy shnikes, man.
Yeah,
Wow. I don't see. Oh, man. I don't know. I think a lot of people are going to be losing money, man. I really do. Jeffrey Foster, thank you for the $1 donation. Says Neil Brown finally gets his signature win. Well, didn't we beat Texas last year? West Virginia wins by 17 and gives me one hell of a birthday present. Well, that would be a hell of a birthday present. I agree with that. But we did beat Texas last year, didn't we? I'm pretty sure we did.
If you remember, Jeffrey, I was telling you the other day, my wife's birthday's Sunday, so that'd be a birthday present for both you guys. So the UCLA Washington game, I just think that Washington has too much talent. And, I realize it's at UCLA, but UCLA has not had more than, 5,000 fans at a game all year. They've got the student section going to be there. 18. Well, they got the student section is going to be there. So if you add the student section onto that 18,000, they'll have 30,000 fans. Washington will travel 5,000 to 8,000 themselves. I just don't see 10 to 15. I don't see any home field advantage here at all. I think I think Washington will blow them away myself.
Yeah, I agree. I think UCLA's undefeated streak comes to an end because it's all smoke and mirrors. They haven't played anybody. They're not going to have home field advantage. Now watch, they surprise us and pack it out. That's just the way it is. But I still have Washington. Even if they do pack it out, I have Washington. Washington has proven that they are a legit threat to get to the Pac-12 championship. Next game that I'm interested in is Oregon State at number 12, Utah. Utah, 10.5-point favorite. If this was at Oregon State in Corvallis, I would actually take the Beavers because I think USC is a better team than Utah. And it took a late touchdown for USC to beat Oregon State by 3 points. However, that's not where this is being played. This is being played in Utah. So I am taking Utah, but I think they win by 10, meaning they don't cover by 0.5 point.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm right there with
you. This one makes no sense as well. Cal at Washington State. Both of these teams are 3-1, but Cal is not good. Washington State's only favored by 4. I think Washington State's a borderline top 25 team. They should have beat Oregon last week. I've tooted my horn on that missed personal foul face mask that they missed. I mean, it was super obvious, super obvious. And, of course, Oregon's ended up scoring, and they scored again. Now, Oregon State should have stopped them on the second touchdown. You can't blame that on the face mask, and that would have been enough to win the game. But 44-41, close loss. Washington State is a good team, and watch out for Washington State to be a spoiler. I think Washington State covers easily.
So you're saying Washington State or Oregon State? Well, it's Washington State.
Now we're talking about. I took Utah, and you agree with me.
No, I'm talking about the Cal Washington State game, right? Is the one we're talking about now.
Yeah, Washington State. Yeah, Cal Washington State.
Yeah. Washington State easy in this game. It really easy. It won't even be a game.
Colorado, Arizona, nice easy win for Arizona. They're favored by an Arizona that had 2 wins last year is favored by 17.5. Wow.
Yeah, they probably should be favored by about 32.
What about Stanford at number 13, Oregon? Oregon favored by 17. Can Stanford do it 2 times in a row? Shock the Ducks.
I will take Stanford in the points. I don't think Stanford wins the game, but give me the points.
That is fair. I like it. I'm very surprised. Number one, Georgia at Missouri, and Georgia's only a 29-point favorite. I think Georgia covers easily. They had a letdown game last week, but everybody had a letdown game last week. Like that was letdown week. I don't know what happened with all the ranked teams, but pretty much every single one of them had a letdown game. I think Georgia's going to be focused. I think Georgia, you know, they know they're going to win, but it's not like they're going to be like, all right, we got this. We're going to sit back. It is going to be a road game, so the atmosphere is going to be great.
Yeah.
But I think Georgia wins by 30 or more. So you agree or disagree? We're going to move on.
No, I agree.
All right. LSU at Auburn. Both of these teams are 3-1. LSU is an 8-point favorite, but Auburn is terrible. I don't know how they're 3-1 other than maybe the competition they've played. They barely beat a bad Missouri last week. I know it's at Jordan Hare, but Penn State went in there and absolutely owned Auburn. I don't think it's going to be a blowout like that, but LSU by 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, and then they fire their coach finally.
Yeah, Brian Harsin needs to go. A&M, number 17, A&M on the road against Mississippi State. Both of these teams are 3-1, and I think Texas A&M is the most overrated ranked team in the nation right now. They lost to App State. They beat Miami, even though they got dominated statistically. And then we saw Miami lose to Middle Tennessee, so they're actually not a good team. So that turns out to not be a good win. And then last week, they do beat Arkansas. But if you watch the game, Arkansas just made way too many mistakes. Do you think Texas A&M can go on the road and, hope that Mississippi State makes too many mistakes and they pull off another win that they shouldn't win?
I think they will, and here's why: is because all the talk about Jimbo Fisher and being on a hot seat, and they're talking about all this money to get rid of him and stuff. I think Jimbo pulls one out, and the players play for him.
The only way that Texas A&M wins this game is if it gets sloppy. Look at the Miami win. Look at the Arkansas win. If they come up against a team that has a legit, for real, amazing offense, Mike Leach, Will Rogers, I'm sorry, I don't give Texas A&M any shot. I think Mississippi State by 20 points.
And you're probably right. You're probably right.
I mean, they would really have to slop the game up because A&M does not have a good offense at all whatsoever. The next game, number 2, Alabama on the road to number 20, Arkansas. Alabama undefeated, 4-0. Arkansas 3-1, coming off a sloppy loss to Texas A&M. This is in Fayetteville, Arkansas. Alabama favored by 7. Does Arkansas have a shot in hell to beat Alabama?
Arkansas has a shot, yes. Just simply because of Alabama and Texas and that score being 20-19. Alabama on the road, telling me that maybe Alabama's not going on the road real well this year and going into a hostile environment in Arkansas. I could see Arkansas upsetting Alabama. Not saying it's going to happen, but I will say this: I'll take Arkansas in them points.
I was absolutely going to say that. I'm definitely take Arkansas in the points, and we're seeing why. And SEC fans, don't jump onto me for this. I am not trash talking the SEC. In fact, I think this is absolutely genius. This is why the SEC protects their brands. They have an in-conference schedule of 4 road and 4 home. And usually they never travel true road games. They do those neutral site games, which is way different from true road games, and then a bunch of home games against either group of 5 or low-hanging fruit from the Power 5. Genius scheduling by the SEC. Look at Alabama this year. The year that they choose to go on the road out of conference, they almost get beat by Texas. And then last year, they get beat by A&M, who had no business beating Texas A&M. I do think Arkansas has a shot, but I don't think they win. I think Alabama is good enough to go on the road and beat a quality team, but I am going to take those 17 points. I think Alabama pulls out with a nail-biter of a win, 3 to 7 points, something like that, so they definitely don't cover. But this is why the SEC schedules the way they do. And it's genius. It really is. It's smart. You're protecting your brands because the less road games they have, the less chances of that upset of happening because Alabama's not losing at home. Not in this day and age right now. That's not happening. Right. The only chance that Alabama has to lose is on the road. We saw it against Texas. We will see it against Arkansas, even though they win. And we will see it against LSU and Ole Miss. Ole Miss. Remember that. Remember, Ole Miss. That's going to be a
Yep.
tough one right there, especially right after LSU. And then finally, the game of the day for the SEC, number 7 Kentucky against number 14 Ole Miss. Both of these teams undefeated 4-0. Ole Miss favored by 6.5. I can tell that Ole Miss is missing Matt Corral big time. Their offense is nowhere near as potent as what it was last year. Their defense is a smidge better. I will give them that. And it has gotten better every year Lane Kiffin has been there. But if Ole Miss had the offense that they had last year, I would say Ole Miss quite easily. But with Kentucky and Lewis, their quarterback, ready to go to the NFL, Mark Stoops, amazing coach, doing amazing things, basically a miracle up there in Lexington, I think Kentucky goes on the road and upsets Ole Miss in a close-ish game, maybe by 10 points, something like that. But Kentucky establishes themselves in the SEC East, and it's going to set up a showdown in Lexington between Kentucky and Georgia.
Yeah. I've been saying all year, that my team to possibly win the SEC East has been Kentucky. I said they were a big upset away of Georgia to win the SEC East, so I can't go against them here. I have to take Kentucky to win this game, and I would take Kentucky to win this game, even if I hadn't predicted that already. I just think that Kentucky's a better team, so I'm
I
taking
100%
Kentucky.
agree. Mayhem Matthew Football, thank you for the $19.99 donation. Very generous. Appreciate you supporting the show. He's donating for Calories for Golden Blue Dude. I'm gonna think about hashtagging that. Calories for Golden Blue Dude. This is for Coca-Cola. Well, that's not happening. Zebra cakes, I can do that. Paper plates, already got some, but I'll buy some. I got you. Pringles, love Pringles and Sprite. I will drink Sprite from time to time, but I can't do Coca-Cola. So
He's a
appreciate the
Pepsi man.
donation to the Calories for Golden Blue Dude Fund. We greatly appreciate that. And we don't shout out Mayhem Matthew enough. Go check out his football channel. He's got great stuff over there. I think he's growing at a decent clip as well, especially for a young channel. And the cameo appearance in the YouTube talent show. If y'all don't know what we mean, let's see. Parental advisory definitely recommended for that. I will say that. Not
Yeah.
recommended for kids, but it was fun and games. We about won that thing. And from what I'm hearing, we should have won that game. A lot of people agree with us on that one. We should have won that thing.
Yeah.
We were the
It was
only
fun.
video to get a standing ovation from Uncle Lou.
Yeah.
That's all you got to
Yeah.
say right
Yeah.
now.
Me and
But Mayhem
Matthew, I called him up and I was like, I need you to do me a favor. And honestly, he had no idea what I was going to do. He had
Right.
no idea how I was going to use that. And so, he did what I asked him to do, and it worked out great. I mean, it was perfect.
Yeah. And that was awesome. Not gonna lie, that was awesome. Like to get Mayhem Matthew's thoughts on when he found out what was going down with that clip. I'd really like to, because I thought he knew before that. So now I'm really interested to know his reaction. Going back to the ACC, there was nothing in the lower teams, but we do have two good games in the ACC this week. First, number 22, Wake Forest at number 23, Florida State. Wake Forest coming in 3-1, coming off a loss to Clemson in overtime. Florida State flying high. They are undefeated. They are ranked. Florida State is favored by 6.5. Wake Forest doesn't have a defense, and I think that's the difference. Okay, Florida State does have not a great defense, but at least it's competent. It's better than Clemson's right now. Clemson's defense is not looking good. It was supposed to be one of the best in the ACC, and it's not looking good. I think Florida State's defense is better, and I certainly think that Florida State has a better offense than Clemson. Give me the Noles to cover in a mild shootout. I think the defense will keep Wake Forest at bay, but a mild shootout. I'm going to take Florida State in the neighborhood of 38-28, something like that.
Give me the upset. I'm taking Wake in this game, and I'm taking Wake to win this game by 7 to 10 points. I really am. I I think that their offense. Everybody kept talking all week long about the Hurricanes going to slow them down. I said that hurricane will be gone by the time this game's played. It's going to be sunny skies and probably 80 degrees. Give me Wake. So I'm
Gotcha.
going to stick with it.
I'm going to address the Mad Tea Sipper real quick. There's several reasons why that title today on my video was not clickbait. Number one, I talked about exactly what was in the title, how Texas was having issues. That's literally what the video was about, plus the West Virginia-Texas game, okay? Reason number one. Reason number two, multiple sources reporting the issues in the locker room as far as,
Onwire. He knows
yeah.
who Onwire is. Onwire is saying how the Texas players called a player meeting to talk about the coaches, and they were upset with the coaches. Onwire is
Yeah.
doing it. If
And then
you
there
watch
were other
any Texas
sources.
show,
And then there were other sources that were saying that there were arguments, not really fights, but fighting, arguing about that fumble in overtime. So, no, sir, that was not clickbaiting. I was just passing
no,
on what I was hearing and seeing. And then finally, the
it's
last
all over
game.
Texas.
Yeah, it's
Go ahead.
it's a big deal. And that's not saying that they can't put it behind them and have a great game. That's what everybody's
Right.
waiting to see. If Texas does put that behind them and talent takes over, Texas will win by 10 plus points. Absolutely. Absolutely. Dude, you can say clickbait all day long, okay? Spam it and get banned. That's up to you. But this last game, number 10, NC State, at number 5, Clemson. Both of these teams are undefeated, 4-0, 4-0. Clemson escapes Wake Forest last week, 51-45 in overtime. I know people are high on NC State, but think about this. Last year in Raleigh, when Clemson's offense was even worse than this year's Clemson's offense, it took overtime for the Wolfpack to pull out a squeaker of a win. So this week, somebody put him in timeout. I clearly warned you, dude. I clearly warned you. Grow up. But anyways, this year it's in Death Valley, and Clemson's offense is not way better than what it was last year, but a little bit better. I'm taking Clemson at home. Let's see. What is the line on this? I think it's 7. Oh, that is a tricky trick. I think that's about where they win. I think they can win between 7 and 10 points. If that was 6.5, I would definitely lay the points. I guess it still doesn't. Well, no, because if they win by 7, then you lose because that's a cover. If that goes down to 6.5, and whenever I did the prediction, it was 6.5. So I'm not touching that as far as a spread pick, but 6.5, I would definitely lay the 6.5. I think Clemson wins. And it wouldn't surprise me if Clemson won by 10 or more. I just don't like that particular line. I think it's right around that area. I like NC State's defense, but they're not going to be able to score enough points to win this football game. I'll take Clemson in a low-ish scoring game, maybe a 31-21 type of deal or a 31-24 type of deal, something like that.
I'll take Clemson in this game. Only I think the spread. I think they cover it pretty easy. I really do.
Depending on how tomorrow's the day goes, what time is that game? That's 7:30. I might set up outside of Death Valley because I live about 15 minutes outside of Clemson, and I have no problem walking a mile or two to get from a CVS parking lot to Death Valley. I know exactly where it's at. I know all the routes. I might set up over there and do a live show with a lot of the while the game's going on, by the way, and talk with some of the fans. I think that would be pretty cool, and I think that would be some good exposure. I'm going to go to the gate where they run down Howard's Rock. Man, wouldn't it be great if I got the entrance? Man, I'm really thinking about that now. My gosh, that is amazing.
I have to run.
Yeah, I have
to run. So I have to run. So when
I'm about to wrap
show's
it
over, I invite everybody to come over. Yeah, I invite everybody to come over to Mark Rogers' WVU channel. We've got Adrian Morrell that's going to be on there tonight, former NFL running back for like about 10 years in NFL. from Arizona Cardinals, Dallas Cowboys, New York Jets. He played for a lot of teams. So he was a running back for West Virginia. So he's going to be over there on the show tonight. So if you get a chance, come over to Mark Rogers. And GBD, I got to get out of here, buddy. But great show,
I
man.
got you. I appreciate you, man. Good job.
All right. See you later.
Mayhem Matthew, thank you for another generous donation, man. We appreciate you. $19.99 donation. Here's a suggestion. Have people email you a ridiculous college football fake story. I like it. And put it in the title of your videos and let people type. Yep, absolutely. I like it because no matter what you do, it's clickbait anyway. So why not actually, do some clickbait videos? Great idea. Great idea. And then whenever they type clickbait, I'll be like, yep, that was clickbait. You are 100% right. Absolutely. Oh, man. I had a good time, guys. I had a good time. I haven't been feeling great today. We're about to do Hocus Pocus night. The second one's coming out. We're going to watch the first one as well. So it's going to be a fun family night. But I had a fun time on the show. Hope you did as well. If you want some more college football, go check out Mark Rogers, Voice of College Football. And go subscribe to the Voice of College Football West Virginia, even if you're not a West Virginia fan and maybe you'll never watch a video. It just helps with the algorithm and helps get that particular channel closer to 1,000. So if you would, go on over there, hit the subscribe button, even if you never watch a video, that's fine. Now, the main channel, Voice of College Football, Mark Rogers, he has fantastic videos, not just West Virginia, but he covers the entire nation. So there you go. On the way out, don't forget to hit the like button. Even though we won't be live anymore, it still helps with the YouTube algorithm, gets suggested more when people see it, and it helps with views. So please do that on the way out. Shout out to everybody that stopped by, everybody that commented, everybody that hit the like button, everybody with the super chats, especially Mayhem Matthew, man. Great donations. Appreciate you, buddy. You already know that's what keeps these shows going, and I will most definitely stop by your channel as well and return the favor. So I greatly appreciate it. And if you're not a Patreon member, now's the best time. Score prediction contest game tomorrow. So if you join right now, you will have a chance to win $20. Once we get to $300 worth of pledges, we will bump the price from $20 a week to $50 a week. Right now, we are at $243 worth of pledges. So if we get to 300, we'll bump that up to $50. And you can join for as low as $2 a month. $2 a month. So every week, a chance to win $20. If you join at $2 a month, you get 2 guesses every week. And we have had a $2 Patreon win this before. It has happened. So if you're confident in your score guessing, go over on the Patreon or bump it up to a $5 if you want more guesses, $10. Plus we have extra shows, discounts on the merchandise store, which the old one is shut down. We're going to create a new one. It's going to be much better. The prices are going to be lower. So that's going to be good. So Patreon page, I'm telling you, we are racking our brains for all the perks in the world. So go on over there and check it out, even if it's just for the score prediction contest and you want to win a little bit of money. We've already crowned 4 winners. We crowned one today, actually. Alan Belomo. I think that's how you pronounce his name. Alan Belomo or Alan Belomo, something like that. He is the winner for week 4. But week 1 was Daniel Brazen. Week 2 was Charlie Woods. Week 3, Daniel Brazen did it again. So he was a 2-time winner. He won $40. And then this week, Alan Belomo. There we go. Alan Belomo. And so, Alan, if you're watching, email me your PayPal so I can send you your $20 that you won from the score prediction contest. All right, guys. I'm out of here. We're going to do a Hocus Pocus night. Appreciate everybody stop by. Make sure to hit the like button on the way out. More college football videos tomorrow, especially tomorrow. College Football Saturday. Always pumped up, and I'm seriously thinking about doing some live streams over at Death Valley. Even my wife might want to go with me because she hasn't been to Death Valley in a while, and she is a huge Clemson fan. We won't go in the gates. We'll kind of just stay outside the gates and talk to fans. But, man, what an atmosphere. That's going to be great. Anyways, y'all have a great rest of your Friday, and we'll see you sometime tomorrow, maybe at Death Valley. I'm really thinking about it.